We have breaking news out of college football. Michigan and the Big Ten have resolved their litigation issues, and it has resulted with Jim Harbaugh accepting a 2-game remaining suspension. He is going to be out this week against Maryland and out next week against the big game of Ohio State. He is out for the remainder of the regular season. As you guys know, he was out last week against Penn State. So this all stems from the sign signaling investigation that has yet to conclude, which is kind of bizarre. But the Big Ten just went ahead and said, yeah, we're probably going to find you guys guilty of this, and we're going to suspend your head coach for 3 games. The last 3 games of the season, oh, by the way, 2 of those games were very important. One against Penn State, which Michigan handled pretty easily. Should handle Maryland easily this week. And then obviously the big one, the one that's going to basically be for the Big Ten title and potentially a undefeated season and going to the college football playoff, is against Ohio State. So here's a statement from the University of Michigan. This morning, the university and Coach Harbaugh and the Big Ten resolved their pending litigation. This is per Adam Schefter. The conference agreed to close its investigation, and the university and the Coach Harbaugh agreed to accept the 3-game suspension. Coach Harbaugh, with the university's support, decided to accept this sanction to return the focus to our student athletes and their performance on the field. The conference has confirmed that it is not aware of any information suggesting Coach Harbaugh's involvement in the allegations. The university continues to cooperate fully with the NCAA's investigation. End quote. So, as you guys know, if you're new to this, it means, so bottom line is, they came out and people are going after Michigan, saying that they are sending scouts to their other Big Ten teams, to their games, trying to figure out their signals on the sideline and steal their signs and their signals. That's what I meant to say. Big deal. It's been a big deal. Cricket and I have talked about this on the morning show so much. It's a big flipping deal, right? Okay, you're stealing signs. Okay. I mean, change your signs up. It's silly. And I've said this could be the death of the Big Ten. Everyone's talking about the death of Pac-12. This could be the death of the Big Ten, because they're not the only team doing this. There's allegations out there that Ohio State and Purdue might be giving away Michigan signs and other things to other opponents in the Big Ten that are playing Michigan that week. This is just mainly people don't like Michigan. People don't like Harbaugh. And so they're going after it. The Big Ten's trying to get in front of it. I think this is ridiculous that the Big Ten's get in front of it before the investigation's even over. The NCAA's investigation is not even concluded. And guess what? If you're going to suspend Harbaugh, okay, which is what they're doing now, and let's say the NCAA comes in and finds out that Michigan is guilty of this, and maybe they don't levy a huge suspension on him since he's already served his 3-game suspension, and he's probably gone after this season anyway, heading back to the NFL. But how many other teams in the Big Ten are doing shady shit like this? You just open the door to that. And if we start finding this, you've already set the precedent that this is what you got to do at minimum, is suspend the coach. And who knows what else the NCAA might say, that there needs to be more. There needs to be more with this kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. Maybe he broke the rules. Okay. It's not that big of an allegation, in my opinion. Like, it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. Change up your freaking signs. If you're Ohio State and you're about to play Michigan, switch up your signs for that week. I mean, come on, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens from this. Let's take a look at Pat McAfee. Their show had something to say about this. Let's
or court case. This thing got settled before that. He will serve a suspension this week against Maryland and next week against Ohio State. Excited to hear that this has ended, seemingly. We will have to chat about the team without Coach Harbaugh, and now we all move forward.
I mean, yeah, we all get to move forward. It seems like a little slap on the wrist. It is kind of a big deal that you're going to miss your coach. By the way, Harbaugh does get a coach during the week. He just can't be at the game. So once again, it's kind of like, okay, well, how much of a difference is there? I think this motivates Michigan. Michigan's got the everybody against Michigan stuff going on, us against the world. I think if you're Maryland Terps this week, you better watch out. But that's just me. But we'll see what happens. Let's see what Pat has to say about this.
I do like and appreciate that it has been said numerous times now, both by Coach John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens and in this particular statement, that Jim Harbaugh didn't know this shit was going on. That needs to be understood, I think, is what everybody.
And I think that's a huge reason why they settled. You saw in the statement that Adam Schefter posted that Harbaugh didn't know. Everyone's getting in front of this saying, oh, Harbaugh didn't know. Harbaugh didn't know. Harbaugh didn't know. Now, obviously, there's the accountability. You're the head coach. You're reliable for whatever's going on in your organization, whether you knew about it or not. Look at the Joe Pa stuff, right? I mean, that's way more egregious than what we're talking about here. But still, you're the head coach. You're supposed to know if this kind of stuff's going on. If you didn't know, that might be true, but you should have known. So you still get punished for it. So just, but everyone's getting in front of this saying, hey, Harbaugh didn't know. Harbaugh didn't know. And I feel like that was the agreement. That's why Michigan and Harbaugh made this deal with the Big Ten, that they were, let's be honest, backdoor deals. This was supposed to go to court on Friday. It's not going to court now. They agreed to the suspensions. Why would they do that? Well, they're probably guilty of something, right? But they want to protect their coach. So this was the way to do it. Say, okay, he'll do his suspensions, but you guys got to say that Harbaugh had no knowledge of this at all, and that has to be the narrative.
Everybody who cares about Jim Harbaugh is saying, we agree with that stat and that fact, because anytime your integrity gets questioned, your entire family's integrity gets questioned, especially as an old school football guy, that can...
See, look at that. Immediately, they already have one of the biggest shows on ESPN and one of the biggest sports shows out there, Pat McAfee, right, coming out and saying, obviously, Harbaugh didn't know. And that's they're getting in front of this. It seems to be setting up too nicely for old Jim Harbaugh.
Can hurt, and that's not good. That's bad, obviously. So him not knowing, we agree with. Him reaping the benefit of is what the Big Ten's like, hey, we gotta something, we have to. I think this is a good meet in the middle. Michigan fans obviously aren't going to be.
And once again, I think it's strange that McAfee's saying this is a good meet in the middle, because there's a lot of people, myself included, thinking, take this to court. What the hell does the Big Ten have on Michigan here when the investigation is not even done? Most of these investigations, I mean, obviously it's the NCAA investigation, and so the Big Ten can do what they want to try to get ahead of what the NCAA is looking into. And maybe they know a lot more than we do, and maybe they are guilty of something. But at the end of the day, most of these investigations, that the unless it's something absolutely egregious, things like this, they get taken care of in the off season. So it's just strange. It's just strange that the Big Ten steps in now, especially at the end of their regular season, and especially when you got Ohio State and Michigan coming up, which is going to be one of the biggest games of the year, not in just the Big Ten, but all of college football. It just, something doesn't smell right to me. Doesn't smell right. But you got radio hosts already saying, "Yep, this makes sense. Glad they can meet in the middle," even though I don't think they needed to meet in the middle. I don't know.
Be thrilled about it ever, because they're losing Harbaugh for some games, but I think we're all pumped just to move on. AJ Hawk.
Yeah, and who knows what Harbaugh will say after this, but this could easily be, I accepted it because even though I didn't know, anything that happens here is I'm the head coach, so it falls on me.
And that's exactly what I was just saying earlier. Like, it's the head coach. It falls on him. He's got to be prepared for this. He's got to know what's going on. And I don't know. It just seems like it's an easy. There's something else going on that we will never find out about because they made this deal, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and it's like Michigan probably just got to that point. Jim got to that point.
Yeah.
The Big Ten was like, hey, we have we have to. Yeah. This has to happen. Now, Maryland this weekend obviously could be tough. Ohio State, though, next week.
Maryland this weekend is not going to be tough. Michigan's a 19-point favorite. Doesn't matter if Harbaugh's out there or not. If anything, this is a classic as a sports bettor. This is your classic. The sharp money is going to be all over Maryland. And we talked about this this morning on the morning show with cricket. It's all the sharp money's on Maryland, taking the 19, take 19.5, wherever you get it at. I'm curious to see if the line goes down now. How much is Harbaugh to the line? But this is the classic. You would normally want to take Maryland in the points here, especially Maryland that can put up a lot of points in this game. But because it's a classic look ahead spot. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. It's a classic look ahead spot for Michigan because they've got Ohio State on deck. That's their season on the line. Even if they lose to Maryland, which they're not going to, even if they did, it still is the biggest. It's the winner gets to go to the Big Ten championship and who's going to win the Big Ten because they always do. But biggest game of the year for Michigan. So clearly they're not going to want to get margin against Maryland. They just want to get in and get out, right? But I think it's the opposite. I think Michigan wants to make a statement. Michigan's pissed off and Michigan's focused because you're taking their coach out of the sideline, or you're off the sideline, I should say, and you're keeping them home. I think these guys are going to go out there and they're motivated to just beat the crap out of a shitty team and make a statement, not just to the college football playoff committee, not just to the rest of the Big Ten, but to the rest of the country, saying, "Hey, we know you guys don't like us, and we don't care." So we'll see.
Next week, here we go. Who's going to the college football playoff pretty much?
Yep, yeah, time to find out.
Who's going to be the head coach of the team? Is it Sharon again? After what happened last week, they get a big-time win. They run the ball 35 straight times to close that thing out against Penn State. He obviously
It was 32. It was 32. Okay, so that's what Pat and them think over on the McAfee show. As a sports bettor, I love it. I mean, give me Michigan. I'll take Michigan. I'm curious to see what is Harbaugh worth to the line. Obviously, he gets to coach all week. He's still there all week in practice. He makes the game plan. I'm sure he's texting or something, breaking some other rules, having communication with the guys on the sideline, right, during the game, or will be. I don't know. I just would assume so. If they're willing to bend the rules on those other things, why are they not willing to bend the rules on this? No one's even said, there's been nothing stated that he can't text in or call in or do anything else. So we'll see. But how much is Harbaugh on actually there on game day making decisions as the game's going on, especially against a team like Ohio State? How much is he worth to the betting line? I'm curious to see how the markets adjust and how the bettors adjust. And of course, I'll be covering that, and we'll be covering that here at Game On. And if you want to get all our picks and insights, and especially from our college football expert, Cricket, and hey, if you want to get all our picks, you just watch the show every day, or you come over to gameon.locals.com. If you want to get the best sports picks for the best value out there, you go to sportspicks.locals.com. The great Robert Barnes dropping picks left and right, winners every single day, man. That guy's on fire. That guy don't miss. All right. So if you want that, you go over to sportspicks.locals.com. Go support our friends Robert and Cricket, and join us over on Rumble. Game On show on Rumble. We just broke 2,000. It's great. I'll catch you guys on the next video.